Good morning, and welcome to the daily briefing for Thursday, June 20th, 2026. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah. Thanks for starting your morning with us.
If you are waking up with us in Parker, Colorado, it is currently 53 degrees and clear skies, heading for a high of 93 and a low of 53 later tonight.
There is a lot of ground to cover today, so let's dive right in.
All right, let's talk U.S. news. Starting on the pitch. The U.S. men's national team has officially soared into the World Cup knockout stage after a thrilling victory over Australia.
That is a massive relief for American soccer fans, especially considering the circumstances. How did they manage to pull off such a decisive win without their star player, Christian Pulisic?
That was the biggest question heading into the match, and the answer really came down to incredible squad depth and some brilliant tactical adaptability from the coaching staff. Without Pulisic on the wing, they shifted their formation to dominate the central midfield.
It sounds like the rest of the team really stepped up to fill that leadership and playmaking void.
They absolutely did, and the global sports media, from The Athletic to the New York Times, is praising how cohesive the unit looked. They didn't just survive without their captain. They actually dictated the pace of the game against a very physical Australian side.
What does that mean for us as they head into the knockout stage? Are they going to stick with this new tactical approach?
They might have to, depending on Pulisic's timeline for a return. But this victory proves they aren't just a one-man show, which makes them a much more dangerous and unpredictable opponent going forward.
That is going to be incredibly exciting to watch. Speaking of high-stakes sports, what is happening over at the U.S. Open?
It is a bloodbath out there at Shinnecock Hills. The 2026 U.S. Open cut line has claimed some major victims, most notably Bryson DeChambeau, whose streak of missed cuts and early exits unfortunately continues.
That has to be frustrating for him. He has struggled to find his rhythm at the majors recently. Was it the course conditions that got the better of him?
Shinnecock is notoriously unforgiving, with heavy winds and punishing rough, but DeChambeau just couldn't keep his tee shots on the fairway.
Rahm usually thrives in tough conditions. What happened there?
It was a brutal late-round collapse. Rahm was hovering right around the cut line going into his final 3 holes, but a string of bogeys sent him packing. The frustration was visible.
Wow, Shinnecock really takes no prisoners. But someone has to be leading, right?
Absolutely. And that brings us to the Friday leaderboard. Wyndham Clark is not.
A course record at a U.S. Open is practically unheard of. He must be playing the golf of his life right now.
He really is. His iron play has been surgical, keeping him out of that disastrous fescue grass. This historic performance firmly positions him as the front-runner heading into the weekend.
The pressure is going to be immense on Saturday and Sunday. Can he hold off the rest of the pack?
That is the...
We will definitely be keeping an eye on that. Before we leave sport...
Yes, over in the group stages, Brazil officially eliminated Haiti from the tournament with a commanding 3-0 victory.
Brazil has looked incredibly sharp this year. Who was the standout player in this match?
Matheus Cunha was the absolute star of the show. He scored 2 brilliant goals, completely dismantling the Haitian defense and solidifying Brazil's dominant form in the tournament.
It is always a joy watching Brazil play when they are clicking like this.
It really is. Pivoting away from sports and into entertainment news, we have a very tragic update this morning. Grammy-nominated record producer Tay Keith has passed away at the age of 29.
Oh, that is absolutely heartbreaking. He was so incredibly young. What happened?
Details are still emerging, but it was a sudden death that has completely shocked the music industry. Tay Keith was a massive force in hip-hop, known for producing some of the biggest, most energetic hits of the last decade.
His signature producer tag is iconic. He worked with everyone from Drake to Travis Scott. The industry has lost a massive talent way too soon.
The tributes are already pouring in across social media from artists who credit him with defining the sound of modern Memphis rap. It is a profound loss for the culture.
It really is. Sending our thoughts to his family and friends. What is our final U.S. story today?
On a lighter note in the entertainment world, the the summer box office is officially heating up. Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 opened to a massive $17.5 million in preview screenings.
That is a huge number just for previews. How does that compare to other releases this year?
It is actually the best preview performance of 2026 so far. Variety is reporting that this impressive start signals robust box office potential for the animated sequel heading into the weekend.
People were wondering if there was still an appetite for a fifth movie, but it sounds like the nostalgia factor is as strong as ever.
Never bet against Woody and Buzz. It looks like Pixar has another massive financial hit on their hands.
Next up, let's take a look at global news.
Alright, let's talk global news. A new report out from OpenAI has revealed that state-linked influence operations originating from the People's Republic of China are actively targeting public debates here in the US.
That sounds incredibly concerning. What exactly are these operations trying to influence?
They are specifically targeting public discourse surrounding artificial intelligence policy and regulation. The report highlights how these PRC-linked networks are using fake accounts to amplify divisive rhetoric about AI safety and governance.
What does that mean for us, as voters and consumers of this technology?
It means we are seeing a growing intersection of geopolitical information warfare and emerging technology governance. Foreign actors are trying to stall or confuse U.S. legislative efforts by muddying the waters of public opinion.
We really have to be careful about the sources we trust online right now. It is a new frontier for cyber warfare.
Speaking of cyber warfare, Dutch authorities just pulled off a major operation. The Netherlands seized 800 servers and arrested 2 hosting company co-owners for aiding cyber attacks.
800 servers is a massive infrastructure takedown. Who were these servers hosting?
According to Krebs on Security, this network was primarily being utilized by Russian state-sponsored actors to conduct cyber attacks and run massive disinformation campaigns across Europe and North America.
So these 2 individuals who were arrested, they were knowingly providing a safe haven for these hackers?
Exactly. They were operating what is known as a bulletproof hosting service, which is essentially infrastructure designed to ignore law enforcement requests and shield malicious activity. Dismantling this is a critical blow to Russian cyber capabilities.
That is a huge win for international cybersecurity. Moving to the Middle East, there is some potentially positive news regarding the US and Iran.
Yes, a peace agreement has finally been signed between the US and Iran, which is expected to ease the intense global economic pressures that followed their recent military conflict.
That conflict really sent shockwaves through the global markets. How quickly will we see the economic benefits of this deal?
The BBC is reporting that we should see stabilization in energy prices almost immediately. More importantly, the resolution is anticipated to fully reopen vital shipping lanes like the Strait of Hormuz.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz is massive for the global supply chain. That should help bring down the cost of goods across the board.
It definitely will. Unfortunately, the news elsewhere in the Middle East is not as optimistic. Israel has continued its military strikes on Lebanon, despite a recently agreed-upon ceasefire.
That is incredibly discouraging. Why are the strikes continuing if a truce was already in place?
Israel claims they are targeting specific militant strongholds that violated the terms first, but Al Jazeera reports that the ongoing hostilities are threatening to completely collapse the fragile truce.
The humanitarian toll there has already been devastating. If this ceasefire falls apart, it could escalate the regional conflict even further.
That is the primary fear among international diplomats this morning. They are scrambling to get both sides back to the negotiating table before the situation spirals entirely out of control.
Let's shift our focus to South Asia. Next up, news from India and Tamil Nadu.
We start this section with a tragedy in Maharashtra. 5 pilgrims are feared dead and 40 others remain trapped after an under-construction roof collapsed at a local temple.
That is horrific. Are rescue teams currently on the ground?
Yes, emergency rescue operations are actively underway. India Today reports that crews are working frantically to clear the heavy rubble and save the trapped devotees. But the structural instability is making it very difficult.
We will keep hoping for a miracle for those 40 people still trapped. What is the latest in the Indian business sector?
Indian telecom giant Jio Platforms is making a massive play for the stars. They just laid out a plan to lease satellite broadband capacity to kickstart their own sovereign low Earth orbit constellation.
A sovereign LEO constellation? They are going directly after Starlink's market share in India.
Exactly. This move positions Jio to secure a massive foothold in the satellite internet market, and the timing is no coincidence. They are doing this right ahead of their highly anticipated initial public offering.
That is going to make their IPO incredibly attractive to global investors. Finally, for this region, there is a very disturbing investigative report out of Delhi.
Yes, NDTV has exposed a dark and illegal child trafficking ring operating right in India's capital, which they are calling the Baby Bazaar.
What did the investigation uncover?
The details are grim. The bust revealed a gender-biased black market where baby boys were being sold for 8 lakh rupees, while girls were being sold for exactly half that price.
That is absolutely sickening. The fact that this is happening in the capital city, and the blatant gender disparity in the pricing, is just horrifying.
It really exposes a deep, systemic issue. Authorities have made several arrests, but child welfare advocates are demanding a much wider crackdown across the country.
Next up, let's check in on finance and markets.
Alright, let's talk markets, and we have to start with the biggest open secret in Silicon Valley. OpenAI has confidentially submitted a draft S-1 registration statement to the SEC.
Wow, so they are officially taking the first steps toward an initial public offering. Why did the confidential filing route?
It gives the high-profile AI startup the flexibility to quietly get their financial house in order with regulators before making their numbers public. It is a way to test the waters without committing to a strict timeline.
What does that mean for us, and for the broader tech market? OpenAI's corporate structure has always been incredibly complicated.
That is the most fascinating part of this. They are navigating massive corporate governance trade-offs right now. Remember, they started as a non-profit, then shifted to a capped profit model.
Wall Street is going to be salivating over this stock, but the regulatory scrutiny will be unprecedented.
Absolutely. Moving from tech stocks to traditional brokerages getting creative, Charles Schwab is officially joining the prediction markets race.
Prediction markets have been exploding lately. What exactly is Schwab offering?
They are partnering with CBOE Global Markets to offer yes or no event-based options contracts specifically on the S&P 500. It marks their first major entry into this space.
So instead of buying a call or a put, retail investors can just bet yes or no on whether the S&P hits a certain number by Friday?
Exactly. It simplifies options.
It definitely gamifies investing a bit more, which regulators might keep a close eye on. What is the Federal Reserve up to today?
The Fed just wrapped up its first meeting under the new leadership of Kevin Warsh, and they have decided to hold U.S. interest rates steady between 3.5% and 3.75%.
Holding rates steady makes sense given the transition, but did Warsh give any indication of where things are heading?
The BBC reports that Warsh is actually launching a full review of how the Fed works.
Right. Traditional interest rate hikes don't exactly solve supply chain issues caused by overseas wars. It will be interesting to see how Warsh reforms their approach. That is a wild concept. So if I own a dividend-yielding stock through this ETF, my quarterly payout is automatically converted into Bitcoin?
Precisely.
That could drive a massive amount of automated capital into the crypto markets every single quarter.
Speaking of crypto, a quick security warning. Microsoft has discovered a new crypto clipper malware that is hijacking wallets. It spreads through infected USB sticks and targets Windows users by replacing destination wallet addresses in the clipboard during transactions.
So you think you are pasting your friend's wallet address, but the malware swaps it out for the hacker's address at the last second. People need to double-check those addresses before hitting send.
Exactly.
A permanent ban is the only logical conclusion there. He did immense damage to retail investors during the Celsius collapse.
Next up, our final segment, Tech and AI. Let's talk tech. And we are starting with a genuinely miraculous medical breakthrough. A brain-computer interface from the BrainGate clinical trial has, for the first time ever, restored fluent everyday speech to a man with ALS.
That is incredible. This is someone who had completely lost the ability to speak aloud, right?
Yes, he had not spoken a word aloud in years.
What does that mean for us, and for the future of neural implants? How accurate is the translation?
It is highly accurate and incredibly fast, mimicking the natural rhythm of conversation. This milestone proves the life-changing potential of neural implants.
The emotional impact of giving someone their voice back after years of silence is just profound. This is technology at its absolute best.
I completely agree. In the artificial intelligence research space, there has been a massive talent poaching. Nobel laureate and AlphaFold co-creator John Jumper is leaving Google DeepMind.
Wow, John Jumper is a legend in computational biology. Where is he going?
He is jumping ship to join rival AI safety and research lab Anthropic.
That is a huge blow to Google. Anthropic has been aggressively recruiting, but landing a Nobel laureate of his caliber is a massive statement.
It really intensifies the competitive race among top-tier AI labs.
Speaking of the big AI labs, OpenAI is making moves on the acquisition front as well.
Yes, OpenAI announced they are acquiring a company called Ona.
What exactly does Ona do that OpenAI needs?
Ona specializes in orchestration for complex knowledge work. This acquisition will allow OpenAI to support long-running, customer-controlled AI agents.
That makes sense, moving from simple chatbots to actual autonomous digital workers.
Exactly. Now we have a very serious cybersecurity alert for federal and enterprise cloud users. U.S. lawmakers.
CISA is supposed to be our premier cybersecurity agency. What did they leak?
A government contractor accidentally left highly privileged AWS GovCloud keys sitting on a public GitHub repository.
Oh no. Public GitHub? That means anyone in the world could have scraped those keys. Lawmakers have every right to be furious. The supply chain of contractors having access to GovCloud keys needs a massive overhaul.
It is a colossal blunder. And keeping with Microsoft and security, they just released a record-breaking Patch Tuesday update for June 2026.
Record-breaking in terms of the number of fixes?
Yes, they addressed nearly 200 security vulnerabilities across the Windows ecosystem. Over 36 of these bugs are rated critical, and several are already being actively exploited in the wild.
So the takeaway here is, do not hit Remind Me Tomorrow on your Windows update today. Restart your computers immediately.
Exactly. Finally, 2 quick developer updates in the AI space. Hugging Face has released the new GLM 5.2 model, which features a massive 1 million token context window designed for long horizon tasks and complex coding.
A 1 million token window is huge. And there is a new open standard for AI agents, right?
Yes, tech leaders including Microsoft, Google, and Hugging Face drafted the Agentic Resource Discovery Specification, or ARD. It defines how AI tools are cataloged, establishing a discovery layer so different AI agents can find and collaborate with each other across platforms.
AI agents learning how to network with other AI agents. The future is moving fast.
It certainly is. And that is the theme for today. Whether it is AI agents communicating, neural implants restoring human speech, or global markets adapting to new realities, the speed of innovation is reshaping our world daily.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Stay safe, update your computers, and we will see you back here tomorrow.